Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Chapter 41. Realize Interstellar Voyage and Get a Medal of Honor. Open black lens bracket name. Amosi Ultra Elite Warrior close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket race. Saiyan close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket current status. Normal close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket combat power. 60,000 close black lens bracket. Grade. Platinum growable. Growth method. Advanced combat. Open black lens bracket talents. Passion for war. Grade 8. Transformation into Super Saiyan close black lens bracket. Extraordinary energy. Chi biological energy. Can be improved according to strength. Power can be improved. Open black lens bracket abilities. Ki blast. Qigong bomb. Spirit bomb. Artificial moon. Kamehameha. Tenfold Kaioken. Close black lens bracket. 10 times Kaioken time limit. 10 minutes red flames emerge from the outer layer of Saiyan's body, and his strength is increased by x10. After the strength is increased, it can be upgraded to 20 times Kaioken, 100 times Kaioken. After Zhang Hao finished all this, there were only 1778 points left in the original power. Up to now, a total of 3004 points of original power have been consumed. Although it was a huge fortune, Zhang Hao didn't feel pity because only Saiyan civilization became stronger. In order to meet the next, more severe test, the Star Thief's attack is a good example. If Zhang Hao's strength is not enough to defeat the invading Star Robbers, then he is now completely reduced to an ordinary person. Looking at the remaining 1778 points of original power, Zhang Hao started to solve the problem that Saiyan civilization could not conduct universe operations. In Zhang Hao's conception, the development of Saiyan civilization in a short period of time cannot be separated from Vegeta, so it is impossible to build large ships such as flagships. And another way for Saiyan to grow is to keep exercising. So the gravity chamber is indispensable. However, in order to ensure the stability of the structure of large ships, it is impossible to build gravity chambers on them. This is also the main reason why Zhang Hao abandoned these ships. Under these premises, Zhang Hao conceived the universe sailing vehicle that is most suitable for Saiyan civilization. Airport. Many large ships will stay on the dock of the airport because the planet will affect the gravity of the planet and the airport. It's not just a place where the spaceship docks, it includes medical treatment, supplies, and entertainment. In Zhang Hao's vision, Vegeta's airport uses split and body technology. Similar to a large Air Force base, the airport and Vegeta are connected by a sky bridge. In non-combat situations, the airport can be used as a near-Earth satellite, but in the event of a battle, you can get rid of the restriction of Li Tian Sky Bridge. It's like a separate space station. An airport with an independent energy system and flight system is capable of interstellar navigation and even high-level jumps. After conceiving, Zhang Hao's original power began to drain in a terrifying way. So not far from Vegeta Fortress, a huge steel frame column rose from the ground. One end was connected to the surface of Vegeta Star, and the prototype of an airport began to appear at the other end. Look from afar. The sky bridge is like a tower of the whole body, which is extremely spectacular, and the facilities on the rapidly formed airport are also beginning to be perfected. The diameter of the airport has gradually exceeded 50 kilometers. Inside the airport, there is a short-range interception turret every 50 meters, and huge electromagnetic guns are distributed on the outer ring of the airport. There are 10 seats in total. In the orbit of the inner ring, 6 large positron cannons are also placed. Airport center area. They are 3 emitters that annihilate light. Because Saiyan almost always trains at the base. In normal times, the airport is only used as a near-Earth satellite. But once interstellar voyage is needed, Saiyan can board the airport for interstellar voyage. When Zhang Hao completed the creation of the airport, he also considered that Saiyan could not fight in the universe, so he made protective clothing for the Frieza Legion. An adaptive evolution took place. This adaptive evolution is carried out in a direction similar to armor. An injection system was added to the back, an oxygen supply was added. Frieza Legion protective clothing, evolved into Frieza Universe Universal type. Added the ability to fight in universe. And it can reduce the wearer's Chi consumption in the atmosphere, because the jet system on the back can assist the wearing Saiyan to fly at high speed. Because it is an adaptive evolution. Therefore, the defense power of the Frieza Legion protective clothing and other values have not changed in any way. This is an improvement based on combat needs. Do it all. Zhang Hao's original power has only a pitiful 24 points left. But Zhang Hao not only made up for the shortcomings of Saiyan civilization, the inability to interstellar navigation and universe operations, but also carried out an all-round upgrade of Vegeta. So everything is worth it. At this moment, Zhang Hao was keenly aware of the changes in the planet's data. Although Zhang Hao felt that it took only a few hours for him to finish all this, but on Vegeta, a long time has passed. So Broly also broke through to the platinum level in the crazy training every day. Open black lens bracket name, Broly Elite Warrior close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket race, Saiyan close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket current status, normal close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket combat power, 60,000 close black lens bracket. Grade, Platinum, growable. Abilities, Artificial Moon, Flying Technique, High Speed Flight, Vast Omega, Fluorescent Energy Shield, Kamehameha, 10 times Kaioken. 10 times Kaioken, time limit, 10 minutes. Red flames emerge from the outer layer of Saiyan's body, and his strength is increased by x10. After the strength is increased, it can be upgraded to 20 times Kaioken, 100 times Kaioken. Another surprise. At the same time, the law enforcement fleet of the U9 star field has returned to the U9 star field. At the same time, Wright, the fleet commander, has also entered the law enforcer building at this moment. Identity confirmation. Commander-in-Chief Wright of the 1st Law Enforcement Fleet of the U9 star field. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Welcome Commander, back to the law enforcement building. Close black lens bracket. The system has detected your heart rate disorder. Do you need a medical application? Close black lens bracket. Unnecessary. After Wright finished speaking, he entered the law enforcement building. Through the central elevator of the building, Wright came to the top floor of the law enforcement building after 4 identity checks. The center of power of the U9 star domain law enforcement. D. Commander Wright has arrived. Close black lens bracket. Hear the prompt. Heck. The law enforcement officer of the U9 star field showed an interested expression to Wright, who appeared in front of him. I heard that you caught the escaped sparrow, Heck said in a calm tone. Hearing his boss's inquiry, Wright nodded slightly. This time, thanks to a senior high school student named Zhang Hao, if it weren't for him, our fleet would not be able to catch them. So the purpose of your coming here is not only to deal with the Star Thief incident, but also for this student. Heck rested his chin with his hand, motioning for Wright to continue. I want to help him apply for the Medal of Honor, which is the second purpose of my being here. Heard Wright mention the Medal of Honor. Heck's face changed slightly, but his eyes were still calm. You should know that you are not eligible for the Medal of Honor just to hold back the Star Thief. This Wright naturally knew. When our fleet arrived, the pirate team had already been defeated by him alone, and there was a platinum-level monster among them. If it is really like what Wright said, that student is too scary. How long has it been since the awakening ceremony in the 3rd year of high school? How is this possible? But Wright quickly transmitted the images captured on his flagship to Heck. Looking at the tragic battle in front of him, Heck put away the smile on his face. In this case, I will be in charge of connecting with the enforcers of the T3 star field. Medal of Honor. It's not a simple pennant-like reward. It contains many perks, from business handling, resource purchase, to interstellar navigation. Enjoy many privileges. The most enviable thing is being able to add points in various official assessments. Not a fixed score, but an overall 5% increase in the score. So this small medal has attracted countless top forces. With the news that Zhang Hao won the Medal of Honor was announced in the T3 star field, Li Shuibao couldn't sit still anymore. Chapter 42. Li Shuibao was originally worried about Zhang Hao, who plundered his planet into a waste planet last time. Thinking about how to take revenge on Zhang Hao. Just as he was thinking, in the civilian channel of T3 star field. Suddenly a message was interrupted. It is said that it is the 9th area of the T3 star field. There is an enthusiastic citizen in Zhongbei who helped the Interstellar Law Enforcement Bureau destroy an interstellar pirate group called Black Crow. Originally, Li Shuibao didn't care about this. Because the entire Zhongbei has a huge population. It is not uncommon to have a strong man who can defeat the interstellar pirates. When Zhang Hao's name appears in the content of the message, he thought it was a coincidence. Just the same name. But as the information revealed became more and more accurate, Li Shuibao finally became convinced that the so-called enthusiastic citizen was his sworn enemy Zhang Hao. Because Zhang Hao almost plundered all the resources of his planet, so that his planet can develop again. The Li family had to spend a sky-high price to buy the original liquid for him. Plus the financial and material resources spent on rebuilding civilization later. Whenever Li Shuibao thought of that number, he felt his heart bleed. The hatred for Zhang Hao is also growing day by day. But there has been no good way. Moreover, according to the content of the news, it seems that Zhang Hao defeated the star robbers who entered the T3 star field by relying on his own strength. How is this possible? Although Zhang Hao did display extremely powerful strength in the last final assessment, but this time his enemies are interstellar pirates. The fighting power they have is not comparable to this group of students. He has become stronger again. Li Shuibao guessed the reason. The last time Zhang Hao won the first place in the final assessment, he got 98 points. The resources of so many planets must have improved Zhang Hao's strength again. We can't let him grow up anymore. Li Shuibao murmured. He has made up his mind to use the Li family's influence in Zhongbei to restrict Zhang Hao's growth. Otherwise, it won't be long before Zhang Hao may grow to the point where he can threaten the Li family. And now there is no room for the two to reconcile, so they can only strangle Zhang Hao before he has fully grown up. When Zhang Hao woke up, the simulated scene in the room changed suddenly. Looking at the beautiful scenery around him, Zhang Hao turned off the scene simulation. Closed successfully. Close black lens bracket. Mr. Zhang Hao, good morning. According to the schedule you set yesterday, the smart butler has already arranged for you the speeding car to Zhongbei, the Awakened Association. Close black lens bracket. The system detects that your vital signs are normal. I wish you a good day. Close black lens bracket. After washing up, Zhang Hao took the high-speed elevator to the first floor. The speeding car arranged by the smart housekeeper has already parked at the side, showing a route on it. The destination is the Zhongbei Awakened Association where Zhang Hao is going today. Soon after, Zhang Hao came to the Awakened Association building in Zhongbei again. Walking into the hall, Zhang Hao saw the familiar figure at a glance. Mr. Zhang Hao, I heard that you defeated the star robbers who entered the T3 star field with your own efforts, and you also won the honor medal of the T3 star field. Is this true? Seeing Zhang Hao's familiar figure, the waitress couldn't help asking. Because she knows how difficult it is to obtain the Medal of Honor. Since the establishment of the 9th District, no more than 3 people have received the Medal of Honor. That is not only a privilege, but also the highest honor. In an official organization like the Awakened Association, one can directly enjoy VIP-level treatment. Except for the final review, other formalities can be directly exempted. Zhang Hao heard the waitress' exclamation, but he didn't understand what was going on, because as soon as he woke up, he went straight to the Awakened Association. During the rest period, the smart housekeeper will not disturb Zhang Hao's sleep. So he won the Medal of Honor, even he didn't know it. But the waitress quickly realized her gaffe and invited Zhang Hao to the second floor of the Awakened Association. The horrified passers-by were left behind. Mr. Zhang Hao, may I ask what business you need to handle this time? Our Awakened Association can basically exempt 20% of the tax, which is also one of the many privileges of the Medal of Honor. Hearing what the waitress said, Zhang Hao explained the purpose of his trip. I came this time to sell transport ships, a total of 156 ships, including 38 large transport ships, 66 medium-sized transport ships, 52 small transport ships, and some technological products and props. At first, the waitress was a little skeptical that the boy in front of her had defeated the Star Bandit, but she looked at the list Zhang Hao made. Immediately dispelled the doubts in my heart. So I was going to hand over the materials for this resource to the Awakened Association, but at this time, a middle-aged man walked in. You go down first. Seeing the gloomy expression on the middle-aged man's face, the waitress was a little puzzled, but she still handed over the business to the man. Who made a man his boss? Sorry, your resource transaction is restricted. Hearing the man's words, Zhang Hao's face darkened, and a trace of coldness flashed in his eyes, but his face remained calm. Wait for the man to say the specific reason. The largest energy company in Zhongbei is the Li family, and the Li family is also the largest shareholder of Zhongbei Interstellar Navigation Agency. They have issued a ban on you, restricting all your resource transactions. Isn't your awakened association an official organization? Zhang Hao asked calmly, probably guessing the reason for this incident. Because he defeated the interstellar pirates and showed his terrifying potential, the Li family could no longer sit still. Prepare to rely on your influence in Zhongbei to limit your growth. But the acquisition of its own resources. It's not by trading, but by plunder, so this ban doesn't actually have a big impact on him. But if it is an ordinary awakened person who cannot obtain resources through transactions, it may be an almost devastating blow to his planet. After all, if a planet wants to develop, it will definitely consume resources. With the diameter of most people's planets, it simply cannot support the consumption required for the growth of planetary civilization. Hearing Zhang Hao's question, the man smiled wryly. The Li family has dominated Zhongbei for many years, and its influence has penetrated every institution in Zhongbei. Even the Awakened Association is not immune. After all, most of the people here are the aborigines of Zhongbei. They have families, and I have to think about the Li family and take revenge on their relatives. Hearing the man's explanation, Zhang Hao's expression didn't change, and he didn't feel angry when the man restricted his transaction, because the ban didn't restrict him too much. Nodded. I see. Feel sorry. Zhang Hao shook his head, got up and left. Weicheng, the Tower of the Sky. The most luxurious residential area in Weicheng. At this moment, a small silver-white space shuttle landed on the small airport at the spire, with a Milan flower pattern painted on it. The length of the space shuttle is only 200 meters, but its speed is 10 times that of a normal shuttle, and it can perform high-level jumps like a large ship. And it's faster and safer. Of course, counterfeiting is also extremely expensive. The counterfeiting of this small space shuttle is no lower than that of a large war flagship. Gucci. With the pneumatic door open, Lu Ruyan walked off the space shuttle slowly, and the steward beside him had been waiting for a long time. Although the smart housekeeper is capable of almost all tasks, the Lu family still adheres to the tradition and does not use cold machines. Miss, this task has been completed very well. The master and wife are very satisfied. After all, maintaining the stability of the T3 star field is also part of the work of the Awakened Association. The slender housekeeper pushed her gold-rimmed glasses and said to Lu Ruyan. But in Zhongbei, the Li family started to make big moves again, targeting a student named Zhang Hao. When hearing the front, Lu Ruyan's expression did not change, but after hearing Zhang Hao's name, her expression changed slightly. You send all the information you have to my brain, and I will handle this matter myself. Chapter 43. Zhang Hao is currently in Zhongbei. Looking out the window at the slowly descending large shuttle, Zhen looked calm. Maybe the ship in front of me belongs to the Li family. Although Zhang Hao knew that Li Shuibao's family was powerful, he never expected that it would be able to influence the Awakened Association in Zhongbei. But he is very peaceful in his heart, because the restriction is only on resource transactions. He can still go to the Awakened Association to start Star Wars. Trading and looting are two different things. And now his focus is to deal with the upcoming Qingbei entrance qualification examination. Qingbei University. It is the highest school that gathers talents from all regions, and any person in it is the top 10 in each region. Even though Zhang Hao is now the number 1 in the comprehensive assessment of the 9th district. But in Qingbei, the most indispensable thing is genius. Therefore, the entrance examination in Qingbei is extremely strict, even to the point of harshness. Not only the comprehensive combat power of the planet will be tested, but also the battlefield command ability of the awakened ones will be tested, so Zhang Hao wants to pass the test. Nor is it a simple matter. But the Saiyan civilization created by Zhang Hao not only possesses great ape, fervor for war, Kaioken, but also has the terrifying ability to transform into a Super Saiyan. So even if he is facing dragons, cultivators, magic, and weirdness, he is not afraid of these super civilizations. I heard that all the seniors in this assessment already have diamond-level combat bodies. Qingbei is really full of talents. Thinking about the upcoming assessment, Zhang Hao couldn't help sighing. Zhongbei, Li's family. At this moment, Li Shuibao is in a good mood. After all, from the image sent by the Awakened Association, Zhang Hao can be seen leaving angrily. At least in Li Shuibao's view, Zhang Hao should be angry. After all, he was ruthlessly suppressed and had no power to resist. Hey, even a countryman dares to fight me. He simply doesn't know how to live or die. Although our Li family is not a very powerful force in the 9th district. But in Zhongbei, if I want to block anyone, I can definitely do it. Thinking of this, Li Shuibao's gloomy mood suddenly improved a lot. After all, he could make Zhang Hao feel embarrassed. It is an extremely difficult thing. But now he has another very important thing to do. This time Qingbei University arranged for the assessment personnel to come to the 9th district, and they had already arrived at the airport by a large shuttle. It was the one that Zhang Hao saw from the window just now. The Li family belongs to a superpower in Zhongbei. This time, the Li family managed to obtain the reception authority of the Qingbei examiner of the 9th district through their relationship. After all, if you have a good relationship with the examiner in Qingbei at this time, then in the assessment, you can easily pass through this relationship. It would be even better if I could inquire about the content of this assessment. Because although Li Shuibao has good talent, his strength is in the 9th district, which is also at the upper level. Not top-notch. It is almost impossible for him to rely on his strength to enter Qingbei University. So we can only rely on bribe. At least in Li Shuibao's view, money is almost omnipotent. Because for so long, relying on the huge wealth of the Li family, he got almost everything he wanted. Master Li Shuibao, I have prepared a large flying car for you. Close black lens bracket. In front of Li Shuibao, a sweet-looking woman appeared out of thin air. Li Shuibao came to his senses when he heard what the smart butler said. Because Li Shuibao's house is the most luxurious in Zhongbei, the smart housekeeper also uses holographic technology, and the projected images are no different from real people. Zhongbei Airport. As the large shuttle landed, 11 handsome men and women slowly walked out of it. 10 of them are the examiners of the 9th district of Qingbei University. I haven't been back to Zhongbei for a year and a half. The man who spoke was a member of the Dongfang University who was in charge of the assessment. He came to Zhongbei with the examiners from Qingbei, and came back to see the family he belonged to. The man's name is Luo Xiaohu, and he was originally the number 1 in Zhongbei number 1 middle school. In the assessment of the whole district of the 9th district, he got a good result of 6th. And now he is a sophomore at Dongfang University. And standing at the forefront of the whole team, this time, the chief examiner of the Qingbei 9th District Assessment, the 98th ranked Star Alliance in Qingbei, odd number. President Los Piccolos. Luo Piccolos heard Luo Xiaohu's words and ignored his sigh, because they came to Zhongbei with a completely different purpose from his. Looking at the large speeding car approaching in the distance, Los Piccolos narrowed his eyes slightly. The flying car is fast. After a while, it stopped in front of several people. With the flying car stopped, Li Shuibao got out of the car, and said to several people with a smile on his face. Every examiner, I am Li Shuibao who is in charge of this reception. As he spoke, he shook hands with several people. But except for Luo Xiaohu, no one else wanted to reach out. After all, they also knew about Li Shuibao through family power, so they didn't have a good impression of him, and besides Luo Xiaohu's family belonged to Zhongbei. It depends on Li Shuibao's face. Everyone else is from other regions. So even if Li Shuibao is the eldest son of the Li family, they don't have to look at his face. Li Shuibao looked at other people's reactions, his face froze, and anger rose in his heart. But when I think about the purpose afterwards, still holding back the anger in my heart, it's just that the change of expression on his face was clearly captured by others. So he disdains Li Shuibao even more. Except for Luo Xiaohu, everyone else boarded the giant flying car that Li Shuibao prepared. This is the flying car specially used by the Li family to welcome VIPs, so the technology used is extremely advanced, no bumps can be felt during the flight, and the interior decoration is also extremely luxurious. At the entrance of the speeding car, there were even 2 neatly dressed and handsome maids respectfully receiving them. After everyone entered, they found that the fur of unknown creatures was covered under their feet, which was soft and elastic, and the walls around the speeding car were covered with gorgeous gold leaf. Various decorative patterns are carved on it. Gives a feeling of being in a palace. Li Shuibao took the drink and fine wine from the hand of the maid beside him, and at the same time extended invitations to others. Our Li family spent a lot of effort to get this for everyone to come. The slightly smug voice made several people frown. In the eyes of others, Li Shuibao in front of him is similar to a nouveau riche, and the interior of the speeding car has such a desperate aesthetic. Alcohol is not good for the body, Los Piccolos said to Li Shuibao calmly with a cold face. Hear him. Li Shuibao's face froze again. Bah, unfortunately, I spent a lot of money on you, arranging a large-scale shooting shuttle in an independent airport. It's really useless. Li Shuibao thought in his heart, but in order to be able to enter Qingbei, he endured it. After a few dry laughs, he stated the purpose of the trip. Seniors from Qingbei, I want you to help me pass the assessment in District 9 this time. Of course, it's not free. Each of you can get 5 million star coins, and President Los Piccolos can get 10 million. Hearing Li Shuibao's words, everyone including Luo Xiaohu was stunned for a while. His face obviously darkened. Mr. Li, I know that the Li family is considered a superpower in Zhongbei, but we don't belong to the 9th district, so don't look at your face. When Los Piccolos said this, the tone was already extremely impolite. After all, behind them, there is also a huge family supporting them. So he resolutely rejected Li Shuibao's proposal, and even felt that Li Shuibao was an insult to their personality. See everyone's reaction. On the contrary, Li Shuibao was stunned. What he thought was a sure thing, was actually rejected directly. But then he thought of what his father had said to him. I can take your strength to another level, and even crush everyone in Qingbei University. Everyone was slightly taken aback when they heard Li Shuibao's words, but no one believed what Li Shuibao said. How could a family in a small place have such a way to improve its strength? Even in Qingbei University, where there are many talents and strong people like clouds. Never heard of it. What's more, it's a small town like Zhongbei, but after Li Shuibao briefly explained the matter, the expressions of several people changed obviously. In Zhongbei, it seems that there really is a secret to improving strength. Chapter 44. Is everything you said true? Even Los Piccolos, who has always been full of disdain for Li Shuibao, couldn't help putting away the contempt on his face. Being able to become Qingbei University, known as the president of a Star Alliance. Los Piccolos, strength is naturally beyond doubt, but he is not satisfied with it. Because there are hundreds of people stronger than him in Qingbei. So his desire for strength has reached an almost crazy level, if it wasn't for the school assigning him to the 9th district for assessment this time. He should still be thinking of ways, how to improve the strength of his planet. Be more specific, Los Piccolos said to Li Shuibao in a deep voice. At this time, his interest has been mobilized. You should know that Zhonghao is the #1 assessment in the 9th district. Li Shuibao said. The others frowned slightly when they heard Li Shuibao's words. After all, they are in charge of the assessment tasks of the 9th district, so they naturally know about Zhonghao, and they also know about the festival between the two of them. This Zhonghao and I are in the same class. Although the awakened planet is 52 kilometers long, it is a waste star, but he has given birth to life in an incredible way. And later, with the strength of crushing, won the first place in the comprehensive assessment of the 9th district. There must be some secret hidden in it, Li Shuibao said. Seeing that several people still didn't understand what he meant, he opened his mouth to explain. Think about it, Zhonghao's planet, with the aptitude of a waste star, can become the first place in the entire region's assessment. What if this secret is obtained by you? He can reach his current height with a waste star, let alone you guys who were geniuses from the beginning. When talking here, a look of surprise appeared on the faces of all the examiners. Although they looked down on Li Shuibao, they had to admit that what Li Shuibao said made sense. If it is really like what Li Shuibao said, Zhonghao reached his current level with only one waste star. Then the planets that are born with vitality and transformed into extraordinary energy when they first awakened the planet. How terrible will it grow? No doubt, they were moved. After all, no one is more eager to become stronger than them. In the highly competitive Qingbei, once they are overtaken by others, they may be expelled from Qingbei. Although they were enjoying the glory of being Qingbei University students, the terrible pressure was too overwhelming for them to breathe. Li Shuibao looked at the changes in the expressions on these people's faces, and knew that the matter was half done. So he continued, in this assessment, you have absolute authority. Whether you can pass or not is up to you, as long as you get the secret of Zhang Hao's growth. You can really reach the sky in one step and become the first person in Qingbei University. And with my qualifications, it is impossible to threaten you. Except for the sentence, the number one person in Qingbei University, the 10 examiners were automatically ignored. Because the allure of this title is greater than anything else. I promise. Los Piccolos looked at Li Shuibao and said in a deep voice, anyone could see the desire for strength improvement in his eyes. So Li Shuibao also smiled. Happy cooperation. Time flies. The assessment of Qingbei University's 9th district will begin soon. The location of this assessment is still the central city of the 9th district. Jincheng. Zhang Hao took the shuttle arranged by the school and arrived at the airport in Jincheng. When Zhang Hao walked out of the hatch, he saw another large ship passing through the atmosphere of Jincheng, and the ship had a Milan flower painting on it. The length of this large space shuttle has reached 980 meters, there are more than 40 huge jet ports at the tail, and a total of 8 pairs of wings are arranged on the hull from the beginning to the end. Gives an extreme sense of speed. Zhang Hao looked at the slowly descending space shuttle, his eyes changed slightly. The cost of a space shuttle with a length of about 200 meters is almost the same as that of a general war flagship. And the ship in front of him is almost 1,000 meters long. Almost the cost of 5 flagships. As the space shuttle hatch opened, exclamations came from the crowd. Zhang Hao followed the prestige and saw the figure in the center of the crowd at a glance, and he felt that it looked familiar. Lu Ruyan. When the girl walked out of the crowd, Zhang Hao finally saw who was coming. During the assessment of the 9th district last time, Ruyan and Lu helped him defend the 3rd Star Bridge. And at the end of the Star Thief invasion incident not long ago, he even sent an invitation to himself. Meet again. Lu Ruyan smiled and said to Zhang Hao. Zhang Hao also nodded, but soon realized that it was time to leave. Because there are more and more passers-by around the two of them. Although Ruyan Lu has long been used to this, Zhang Hao had been living an extremely low-key life before awakening the planet. So for such a scene, not very accommodating. Of course, Lu Ruyan didn't like others to judge her very much, so the two left the airport quickly. Let's go together. Looking at Zhang Hao who was going to the airport, Lu Ruyan said to Zhang Hao who was waiting for the school speed car to pick him up. Zhang Hao also nodded, and readily agreed. After all, the two are considered partners now. Looking at the flying car at high speed, Zhang Hao's face remained normal. But I was still secretly surprised. The walls of this flying car are actually inlaid with Baijin, and the carved patterns are exactly the same as the giant space shuttle just now. It's just more beautiful. The floor is covered with soft carpet. On the table in front of him was an extremely delicate tea set. And behind Lu Ruyan, there was a housekeeper wearing gold-rimmed glasses, with a glamorous demeanor. So Zhang Hao couldn't help but licked his tongue secretly in his heart. Originally, he thought that he had earned tens of millions of star coins, and he could barely be considered a rich man. But compared to Ruyan Lu who was sitting across from her, this super-rich woman, she was not a little bit worse. Follow the two people off the flying car. Passers-by also cast their gazes. After all, someone who can use a giant speeding car as a means of transportation. None of them are ordinary people. Why Ruyan Lu and Zhang Hao are together? I don't know, it should be on the way. After all, the route from the airport to here is the same. But the family emblem on it is obviously the Lu family's private flying car. They won't. How is it possible? Although Zhang Hao won the first place in the district last time, Lu Ruyan also won the second place. It shouldn't be as expected. But the relationship between the two of them seems to be unusual. Quote. Zhang Hao and Lu Ruyan ignored the surprise of passers-by. With a calm expression, he walked into the hall of this assessment. In this assessment, not only Qingbei University participated, but also Dongfang University, Nanta University, and Normal University. 186 universities participated in the assessment. The assessment time is 3 days, and 62 universities conduct the assessment every day. During the 3 days, all students can choose their favorite university for assessment. As long as they pass the assessment of the university, they can obtain the student status of the university. And cannot be changed. But to participate in Qingbei's assessment, the planet must reach the level of a second-level planet, and must have more than 10 gold-level combat units. Or have a platinum-tier combat unit. But most people can only satisfy the former. Each student has a total of 3 chances to take the assessment. If they fail all 3 times, they will completely lose the chance to enter the university. Therefore, most people will choose a surefire university in the end, in order not to end up going to the logistics academy. Of course, over the years, there have been students who failed in the rankings because they were too ambitious. As the time came to 9 o'clock, the college entrance examination also kicked off. There are 10 universities in the first group of this assessment, namely Qingbei University, Dongfang University, and Nanyang University, a total of 10 universities. The time is 1 hour, and the duration can be extended according to the assessment situation. When Zhang Hao and Lu Ruyan heard the name of Qingbei University, they stood up respectively and walked towards the examination area of Qingbei University. Chapter 45. As Lu Ruyan and Zhang Hao walked up to the high platform together, they quickly attracted someone's attention. Li Shuibao. Looking at the two people walking together, Li Shuibao's expression could no longer remain calm, and the jealousy in his heart made the expression on Li Shuibao's face extremely distorted. Why can that country bumpkin stand with Lu Ruyan? When did they meet? Li Shuibao looked at the two people sitting and standing in the distance, puzzled. Because the last time Zhang Hao received the Medal of Honor, Ruyan Lu's name was not mentioned, only that the T3 Starfield Awakened Association also sent a fleet to assist in the investigation. So Li Shuibao didn't know that when the Star Thief invaded, the two met again, although they used the creatures on the planet. But Li Shuibao also knew that now was not the time to struggle. The waiting area for Qingbei's assessment followed the flow of people. During the 3 days, the stronger the school, the higher the ranking in the assessment. So is the highest level of institutions of learning. Qingbei was the first to start the assessment. Zhang Hao was a little surprised when he saw more and more people gathering around him. He didn't expect that in such a short period of time, more than 400 people's planets had reached the second-level planet. It also has a minimum of 10 gold-level combat units. This is only the 9th district, and there are thousands of remaining districts. There are millions of people who can meet the assessment standards. But only about 2% of those who were able to enter Qingbei. In other words, among the 400 people in front of Zhang Hao, only about 10 of them were able to successfully enter Qingbei University. Although very difficult, but Zhang Hao has great confidence in his Saiyan civilization. At this time, Zhang Hao found a familiar figure not far from him. It was Li Shuibao who had all the resources plundered by him. Zhang Hao originally thought that the development of Li Shuibao's planetary civilization would be much behind others, but the Li family is worthy of being the superpower in Zhongbei. It actually allowed Li Shuibao to surpass others in such a short period of time. At this time, Li Shuibao also noticed Zhang Hao's gaze. When enemies meet, they are extremely jealous. When Li Shuibao found that Zhang Hao was looking at him, the expression on his face became ferocious. Zhang Hao looked at the distraught Li Shuibao. With a disdainful smile, he looked back calmly. Even though Li Shuibao ordered him to be banned, Zhang Hao still didn't feel that Li Shuibao deserved to be his opponent. Bah, let's see how long you can be arrogant. Don't think that you are amazing now that the planet has grown up. They are all super geniuses from Qingbei, and even those star robbers are vulnerable in front of them. Because according to the information obtained by Li Shuibao, that gang of star thieves only had platinum-level combat units, and they were not a powerful civilization. And this time the assessors, everyone has a diamond-level combat unit. The scariest thing is, the civilization of each of them is the top civilization. And monster civilization, such an intermediate civilization. It is basically a sky and a ground. So if they don't let Zhang Hao pass, Zhang Hao has no chance. Thinking of this, Li Shuibao nodded to the indifferent Los Piccolos. Seeing Li Shuibao's gaze, Los Piccolos also subtly responded. Their plan is very simple: use their strength to get Zhang Hao to tell the secret of why he can grow up to the present with a waste star. If Zhang Hao refuses, they will threaten to directly destroy Zhang Hao's civilization. They already know Zhang Hao's situation very well. If civilization is destroyed, he won't have a chance to stand up again, so he shouldn't refuse. As for Li Shuibao, even let him enter Qingbei. In less than a month, he will definitely be expelled from Qingbei, because he has no idea how fierce the competition in Qingbei is. In fact, Los Piccolos did not want Li Shuibao to pass, but he used this incident as a threat. If I can't pass, then I will announce what you have done against Zhang Hao. Thinking of Li Shuibao's face, Los Piccolos also secretly hated him. This assessment lasts 15 minutes. The content is very simple. Guard against the examiner's attack. Los Piccolos said, nodding to a girl beside him. Come with me. You have a chance to give up before taking the assessment. Once the assessment starts, you can't give up in the middle. So you better think clearly, it's too late to quit now. Xingbei University is not so easy to advance. If your combat power is damaged here, causing you to fail the assessment later, Xingbei University will not take any responsibility. The woman said in a crisp voice, her eyes swept over everyone. But it stayed on Zhang Hao's body for half a second. Hostility. Zhang Hao was slightly taken aback. Just now he clearly felt hostility from the girl's eyes. So he was slightly taken aback. It was his first time meeting these examiners, but he could feel the girl's hostility towards him. Although he didn't understand, Zhang Hao was still preparing for the assessment with his usual expression. Seeing that no one had quit, the girl nodded. For this assessment, there will be a group of 80 people. The list has been drawn up. Please prepare for the first group. Zhang Hao glanced at his name and found that it was ranked first. 8 Qingbei students each led 10 students into the Star Wars opening room, and Zhang Hao and Lu Ruyan were naturally separated. Lu Ruyan gave Zhang Hao an encouraging look. Come on. Yeah, Zhang Hao nodded. At this time, Zhang Hao also followed the girl who spoke just now into the Star Wars opening room, but Zhang Hao looked at Los Piccolos with a slight flicker in his eyes. Then he walked in without changing his expression. When Zhang Hao walked into the opening room of Star Wars, a huge star bridge suddenly appeared on the land of Star Vegeta, because there were so many people participating last time. So the diameter of the star bridge is no more than 50 meters. But this time, the diameter of the star bridge has exceeded 1,000 meters, so it can no longer be called a star bridge, and it is no exaggeration to call it a star gate. I saw many immortal cultivators suddenly appear on the surface of planet Vegeta. Each body exudes powerful fluctuations. Obviously, the girl is of the same civilization as Lu Ruyan. But they don't seem to be in a hurry to attack Fort Vegeta, and one of the female practitioners is riding a flying sword. Slowly landed on the open space outside the fortress. The female immortal cultivator looked up and saw 2 burly figures. Then his eyes narrowed slightly. Platinum. The girl's name was Irene, and she was from Area 1352. She didn't expect that in such a short period of time, Zhang Hao's Vegeta planet would produce 2 platinum-level combat units. At this stage, it is simply unimaginable. At the time of the assessment, she barely passed the assessment relying on the teamwork of 50 golden practitioners. Unexpectedly, Zhang Hao already had 2 platinum-level combat units at this stage. And Zhang Hao, she also watched the video of defeating the Star Bandit. They can explode about 30 times the strength of their bodies. The general intermediate civilization can only explode about 5 to 8 times the strength, and the advanced civilization can reach about 15 times. Doubled Zhang Hao's Saiyan civilization on the basis of advanced civilization. What kind of secret is it hiding? Erin thought to herself. But seeing these 2 platinum-level combat units, the desire to know the secrets of Zhang Hao planetary civilization is even stronger. At this time, Zhang Hao, a female immortal cultivator who did not make any aggressive moves, showed a thoughtful expression on her face. It won't be watering it. But at this moment, the female immortal cultivator spoke up. Zhang Hao, right, if you can tell me the secret of how you grew from a waste star to where you are now, I can let you pass the assessment directly. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.